I'm Irma. The silence in the living room was deafening, only broken by the ticking of the clock above the mantel. My parents and sister stood in the doorway, their faces drained of color as they stared at the table lined with receipts and proof of my sacrifices. I remember setting my teacup down and saying evenly, "Welcome home." Their eyes darted to the table, panic flickering in their eyes like shadows. Dad was the first to break the silence. He stepped forward, his voice caught between anger and disbelief. "What is all this, Irma? Why are you going through our private things?" I tilted my head. "Private? These are my transfers. My money. My sacrifices. And that," I pointed to the glossy itinerary on the table, "is your vacation. Paid for by me. Without me." Mom's lips trembled. "Sweetheart, you don't understand. We just needed a break. It wasn't personal." "Not personal?" I laughed softly, shaking my head. "You told me to cancel my trip to the Alps because Dad's business debts were crushing you. And while I stayed home, you sipped cocktails on a ship I paid for. Tell me again how that's not personal." My sister dropped her purse with a thud, her voice sharp. "So, what, Irma? You want us to beg? You think you're better than us just because you make a little money?" "No," I said calmly. "I think I'm done being used." Her mouth snapped shut. The weight of the silence pressed against them, not me. For once, they looked small. 3 people who had built their lives on my shoulders and were now staring at the floor beneath them cracking. I stood slowly, pushing the chair back. "You wanted sacrifices. You got them, but not anymore." I walked toward the door, my suitcase already waiting. Their voices rose behind me, frantic, overlapping. "Don't you dare walk out. We're family, Irma. Family. But family doesn't laugh while you sit by the trash. Family doesn't buy tickets to paradise and leave you behind." I opened the door, the cool night air rushing in, and stepped outside without looking back. As I drove through the night, my phone buzzed non-stop in the cup holder. Calls from Mom, voicemails from Dad, texts from my sister, alternating between rage and desperation. "You're heartless. We'll pay you back. Come home. We can't do this without you." Every word only confirmed what I already knew. They didn't miss me. They missed what I provided. By morning, I checked into a small cabin near the mountains. It wasn't the Alps. It wasn't luxury, but it was mine. A fireplace crackled. The air smelled like pine, and for the first time, I felt a peace no cruise or family vacation could ever give me. Let me take you back to how it all started. I come from a family where I was always the responsible one. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were a bit self-centered. Dad was a businessman who always seemed to be in debt, and Mom was more concerned with her social circle. My sister, Lily, was 2 years younger than me and had always been spoiled. They would often come to me with their problems. Dad would talk about the deadlines for his business loans, and Mom would mention the expensive social events she needed to attend. Lily would just pout and expect me to solve her financial issues. I had always believed that by helping them, I could earn their love and a place in the family. One day, Dad came to me looking stressed. "Irma, the business is in a tight spot. We need some money urgently. If you could transfer $7,300 into my account, we'll sort the details later." I hesitated for a moment, but then I thought about the times I had felt left out and how this could be my chance to be part of the family. I pictured a family vacation in the Alps, snow-covered mountains, and warm evenings by the fireplace. So, I transferred the money, whispering, "We'll sort the details later." A week later, while looking for something on Mom's laptop, I found a glossy email in their inbox. It was a cruise for 6 to the Mediterranean in August. There were photos of sunlit decks, private rooms, and delicious food. Their names were on the passenger list, but mine was nowhere to be found. They didn't forget. They chose. I was heartbroken. I left my suitcase in the back of my closet and put my phone on silent. Quietly, I vanished. I booked a cheap flight to a small coastal city they'd never heard of and rented a room above a bakery. The smell of fresh bread seeping through the floorboards in the morning gave me a sense of hope. I changed my voicemail to just my name and walked around the city without calling anyone. They called my absence dramatic and said I was cold. They texted me photos at sunset from the cruise, with captions like, "Wish you were here." But I knew those were just false hearts. While they were on the cruise, I started collecting evidence. I had the screenshots of the wire transfer, the email confirmation of the cruise, and every digital breadcrumb they left behind. I wasn't planning revenge at first. I was just planning to show them the truth. One evening, I called my landlord to confirm the sublease for their house. "Yes," I said smoothly. "I'm the tenant now. They'll be gone for 2 weeks, so the place will be empty when I move my things in." He didn't ask questions. That night, I stood outside the family home. My car was loaded with boxes. The windows were dark, and the driveway was empty. I slipped inside with the spare key they'd forgotten I still had. The house felt different. The walls that once mocked me with their laughter were now silent. I moved quickly and quietly, like a ghost reclaiming space. I cleaned the living room, which was once cluttered with their shopping bags and Dad's unpaid bills. I scrubbed the kitchen until it gleamed. I set up my easel by the bay window, left my laptop open on the kitchen counter, and poured myself a glass of wine from their collection. I didn't see it as stealing. I was paying rent in the currency they had never valued, proof of my sacrifices. I spread all the receipts and transfers across the dining table. The $7,300 I had transferred was a harsh reminder of the vacation I wasn't invited to. I thought about what to do when they came back. Whether to confront them or just let them be shocked by my presence. The first few days in the house were surreal. I woke up in my parents' bed, sunlight spilling through the curtains. I brewed coffee without Dad complaining about the brand and cooked breakfast without Mom handing me a list of chores. The silence was clean, not heavy. I saw all the signs of their entitlement around the house. Notes on the fridge with my name underlined, asking me to pay for utilities. Lily's scattered shopping receipts that I had helped cover. I gathered them all and added them to the pile on the dining table. It was no longer anger. It was documentation. The day they were due to return, I prepared. I laid everything on the dining table in neat rows. Printed bank statements, copies of utility bills, and the confirmation of the $7,300 wire. At the center was the cruise itinerary, their names highlighted, mine absent. That afternoon, I sat in the living room, calm, sipping tea. Their flight tracker showed they were on time. Soon, the front door would swing open. And then came the moment of truth. Back at the cabin, I spread their receipts across the wooden table one last time before sliding them into a folder. I didn't need revenge anymore. The truth was enough. I knew they were unraveling back home. A cousin messaged me, "Your parents are panicking. Everyone's asking where you are. They're embarrassed." That word tasted sweet. For years, I had been the one humiliated, laughed at, and sidelined. Now they were the ones explaining empty chairs and unpaid debts. One night, I lit a candle and laid out the folder of receipts one last time. I fed the papers into the fire, watching the flames curl each sheet into ash. The room filled with a faint smell of smoke, but my chest felt lighter with every flicker. I didn't need evidence to carry me forward. I had something stronger, freedom. I closed my journal with one final line. Family is not who demands your sacrifice. Family is who protects your joy. I set down my pen, curled up by the fire, and let the crackle drown out every echo of their voices. They hadn't lost their wallet. They had lost their daughter, and she wasn't coming back.